Alright fellas, first window since the World Cup. You were pretty unlucky against Brazil, being honest. But hopefully, we at least keep hold of the soccer ashes. Australia, just above us in the world rankings. They did go deeper than us, but had a much kinder draw, okay? So let's just get the job done over them. Then Argentina, okay? If we can do a job against Brazil, we should be able to handle Argentina, okay? It's time for us to really take some big boy steps here and take on some good teams. Let's show up and get some decent results. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 152 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Technical and the All Whites. Hope you're doing well and come with that. It's our first international window off the back of the 2038 FIFA World Cup. Of course, these days we are inside of the top 20. We're going to take on an Australian team only a couple of places above us who made their way one step further than we did into the quarters of that World Cup before we take on the team who finished third in Argentina. So if there's more to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday, we played the Chatham Cup final at Cashmere Tech against Mangarewa, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner where, as you can see, we wiped the floor with the Northern League champions, a 10-0 win, a late red card, but by that stage, we were already 8-0 up, so the Northern League, definitely I think it's fair to say the weakest league in New Zealand at this point. But off the back of that, something has happened Cashmere Tech-wise. We'll get to it first. It actually wasn't the plan, but you can see it there over in the news items. Chris Greenidge might be on his way out of Cashmere Technical. That's a little bit relevant to the All Whites, because he's actually in the squad for this window. Of course, was injured for the World Cup, a little bit better than Jacob Hall-Jones. The bid's £10,000, not too sure there why it says 9.75, but Chris Greenidge, with the addition of Jonas Otto, the man who was formerly at Bayern Munich, I did think we could let go of Chris Greenidge so we could go somewhere where he actually would be a regular starter, because that will change with that addition of Otto. So Chris Greenidge is currently under bid from the Brisbane Roar. So that's a player who might be on his way out of the club at Cashmere Tech. To be fair, not too sure if it's currently an A-League transfer window, but he might not be available for much longer for us there at Christchurch, our high potential left winger, second in line in the All White squad. So a bit of transfer news off the back of that Chatham Cup win there against Mangarewa, but thankfully no injury concerns going to this window here with the All Whites. So it does mean we've been able to select our perfect squad that we could for this window, which is thankful as well, because we do take on two pretty good teams. One player on a 45-minute restriction, that's Michael Cornelis-Beale, so it does mean that Sam Clark will start this one, but apart from that, that is our best 11. One change, though, to the overall squad, apart from, of course, Chris Greenidge coming in for Hall-Jones, as I said. Asana Diop is now eligible for the All Whites and is better than Cody Phoenix. So a new second choice left back here with the All Whites, our backup from Cashmere Tech. 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. The man who, of course, was formerly Cheek's notes. I think it's from Senegal. Indeed, that is the case, but these days has declared for New Zealand, so might get his first cap during the course of this international window. But it's our full strength squad, as I said, so hopefully we can pick up some decent results here in this window. To be fair, first game's probably the one that you'd expect us to win if we're going to win one in this window. We take on an Australian team who, as you can see, we've beat twice in our last 4 outings. The other 2 results, they were draws. It does mean that currently we do hold the soccer ashes in this save, but Australia do go a little bit deeper than us at the World Cup, made their way through to the quarters before getting knocked out by semi-finalist Germany, who of course got beaten in that third place playoff by Argentina, who we'll get to shortly. But these guys, just above us on the world rankings in 15th, we are these days in 17th, so this is a quite evenly matched contest here. Hopefully with home advantage, we can pick up a winner, or at least a draw, to make sure we hold on to those soccer ashes. And off the back of that, we then take on Argentina, who I think are the toughest opponents that we've played ever since England in one of our first friendlies in the save, at least in terms of outside of a World Cup. Lost the semi-final of the World Cup to Spain, who were the eventual champions. They're only ranked 7th in the world, which is a bit surprising for a team that finished third at that World Cup. But obviously, one of the teams who are always up there in terms of World Cups and world rankings. Let's see how we get on off the back of a game that they've got where they take on the War Elephants of Thailand. So those are the two games we've got coming up in this window, both in New Zealand. Hopefully we can make the most there of that home advantage. Also means no bus trips needed, so hopefully we'll get off here to a good start in this window by picking up a win over the Aussies. And here are the team sheets for this first friendly of this international window. We, of course, being the home team, are up first. As I said, just one change to our usual best 11. That is that Clark is in for Beale with that minute restriction here. Australia, they are going with a 4-4-2. It does look like they're missing their star left back, usual captain from Liverpool. I think his name is Maritic. Came through quite early in the save at Melbourne City. Back, of course, when we were doing stuff with AFC Auckland these days. A very highly valued left back, but to be fair, these days is in his 30s, but to be fair, also the case with George McDonald. But unfortunately, Aussie here on the front foot from an early highlight. Caruso goes out towards the edge of the box, gets pushed over by Nian Kuru with his back the complete wrong way to goal. And to be fair, wouldn't have been scoring from there anyway. So that is a really poor penalty to give away. Gobby steps up and unfortunately puts that one past Alex Paulson. Went the right way, but couldn't stop it. So to be fair, that's now quite a while since Alex Paulson has saved a penalty. Of course, all 5 went past him in that round of 16 penalty shootout against Brazil. But unfortunately, 1-0 down early. And we've just made our way past the 15-minute mark, and the next highlight here is a throw for Australia, albeit deep inside of their own half. And it's a shocker as well. Let's give that ball to McDonald, who finds Keat on a yellow card, is easing off tackles, but thankfully it won't affect him. That's a wonderful finish there into the top left corner. That's shocking there. I think it was from Ivanovic who was putting that ball in for Australia. In fact, it was Ivanovic looking here, I think, for Benici, but nowhere near him. McDonald cuts it out, and Justin Keat does his man there, finds lots of space on the right-hand side, and thankfully, we've struck back 1-1, just shy of the 20-minute mark. And just make way into the last 5 minutes of this first half. No action apart from the 2 goals to either side, so it looks like it's going to be 1-1 here at half-time in this first friendly. It's not going too badly, but a couple of players out there are just going averagely in terms of stats. Very even game. Australia higher XG, but that's probably because of the penalty. Apart from that, looks like we've been the team creating a few more chances. Pickering on a yellow card going fairly. We'll take him off for Greenidge. Also Piers for Young only on a 6.5. Justin Keat, I think we'll probably leave on that yellow card being the goal scorer, but we're going to bring on Beale here. Hopefully can give us some good impact here in that 45 minutes he is recommended for. Hopefully he'll be okay for the next game, considering it's still 7 days away. Hopefully his club will allow him to be available for 90 for that clash against Argentina. But hopefully those changes might help us go on and win this one. Currently locked up at 1-1. And just coming to the hour mark in this game, and unfortunately Justin Keat, our goal scorer, is now down to a red heart. To be fair, was a bit of a risk keeping him on a yellow card. So Chris Jones can come on. Half hour left, still 1-1. And just about to make our way into the last 20 minutes of this game. Still no highlights in the second half, but Lou Evans has dropped down to a red heart with our final sub, Marcus Vinicius from Cashmere Technical. Of course, these days, second choice, because Louis Evans is, of course, at Oldham Athletic. But also, while we're here, might just try the Cashmere Tech style off the back of how well it worked against Manurewa in yesterday's episode. So it does mean going attacking with our mentality. We'll distribute to full backs and also just drop that tempo down a notch. Let's just see if that might help us grab a winner here with 20 minutes to go, as we're still locked up at 1-1. And unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked. Those changes that we did make to go a bit more Cashmere Tech here. So now it's time for us here to go a bit more attacking with our player roles. Also, we'll up that tempo again and also go a bit wider in terms of our attack. I think, though, that's all we might do. In fact, go a higher defensive line as well. Let's also chuck Adam White onto attack. But currently, not much happening here in the second half of this game. As you can see, it's been very even since half-time. Obviously, Aussie's XG got bumped up massively, as I said, by that very early penalty. But apart from that, it's been a quite even game. Unfortunately, no, not much happening in the second half of this one. Let's chuck now Vinicius onto support, and also let's tell our guys to be a bit more expressive, distribute quickly from the goalkeeper, and to be fair, everything else we're doing is quite attacking here with this current all-white squad. It's very even stats-wise. To be fair, a draw, pretty good result. Unfortunately, that silly penalty given away early from Tresor and Kuru did prove costly. Thankfully, Justin Keat grabbed an equaliser, so at least we keep hold of the soccer ashes there with a draw. But that's not a great result, considering next up we're going to take on Argentina, a lot higher ranked in terms of those world rings. We'll tell the guys it was okay, but could have been better. I think that's the best team talk we can give there at full time in this one, and we'll come back shortly to take on Argentina. And here are the team sheets for our second friendly in this window. First up is us. Unfortunately, one change for this game. Simon Curtis also now recommended for 45 minutes, as well as Beal. So it does mean Lucas Kelly-Hield will start alongside Tyler Binden at the back there at Argentina. A very attacking 4-2-4 in terms of the formation. That's quite interesting to see. They've got lots of attacking threats there based on that formation. I presume they beat Thailand at the same time that we played Australia. Early injury, which might affect them. Let's see whereabouts that might be. Sanchez looks like he might be a bit of a midfielder come winger, so that could actually affect them in this game. At early stages, we've had the only shot in this one, making our way up to the 20-minute mark. Eventually get a highlighter free kick here in favour of the ARGYs. They play that one to a tight angle to Romero. Beats Alex Paulson. Really shouldn't be happening from that tight an angle. Not good work there from the man from Montpellier in the save, because that free kick obviously not picked up there on our right hand side. That again might be Tressor, but Paulson really needs to be saving that one. Unfortunately gets beaten there at his near post from a very tight angle, and we go 1-0 down. Thankfully, next highlight, he does actually claim the ball, albeit plays it to Kelly-Hield under some pressure here, trying to make our way out from back in Evans, trying to find someone there. It was Justin Keat, who was a bit sleepy, didn't quite realise that ball was trying to find him, and Argentina get a penalty. So far our discipline in this window is proving a little bit of a problem. Can't afford to be doing this against a team like Argentina, I'd say, compared to Australia. Varela will send Paulson the wrong way. A quick fire double, and Gianfranco Varela really puts the foot down here, tries to put the nail in the coffin of us early here in the second friendly. We do take on Argentina, 2-0 down halfway through the first half. And we're just now into the last 5 minutes here of this first half. Unfortunately, Argentina still well and truly on the front foot, now thrown inside of the final third. Put that one far post there, Real. Tried to get ahead to it, goes back out there to Romero. He will find the Escalante on the left-hand side of the box. Takes on the shot, Alex Paulson. Doesn't even try and save it. We might pull him at half-time. He is on a shocking rating, but Argentina so far just way too good for us in this game. Not unexpected, but I was hoping we might keep this one close. Otherwise, this could be quite bad for our world ranking potentially, but that is pretty pathetic there from Alex Paulson. To be fair, the shot might have beat him anyway, but that's not a very good first half. We are 3-0 down. Paulson on a 6.0, so I actually think here I have a reason to take him off. To be fair, not too sure if he's actually going to make it to the next World Cup with his age. So Billy Debenham can come in, obviously hoping that David Cifuentes will be eligible and playing for us by the time we get to that next World Cup. Also, Louis Evans on a 6.3. We'll take him off here for Vinicius, and the other player on a 6.3, Josh Pickering. Poor window for one of our star players. Chris Greenidge can come on at halftime, but that first half, pretty average. If it gets any worse, I'll have to try some tactical switches here, which could actually pay off in the long haul, trying to find a tactic and a style with this gegenpress that works against these good teams when we do go to a World Cup, because I do want to take on the good teams between now and that next World Cup. In this last cycle, going to have to, if we want to make our way up the rankings, inside of the top 20, and it might be coming soon, because Argentina, with the first highlight here of the second half, Palacios starts to make his way in behind, just inside the box here, tight angle, tries to square it, but thankfully Binden will clear that one away to Young. And a chance for us here on the counter-attack. George McDonald with a hold-up play for playing that one back there to Nyankuru. Now Justin Keat cuts inside, tries to play a ball out there to Greenidge, not a good one. Escalante can tidy things up, and now they're back on the attack here through Palacios. Around the edge of the box, fizzes that one in nicely for, I think, Ugarte, save from Debenham, then it's cleared by Binden, goes back out to Pablo Sanchez, puts it away. So a good couple of saves there, I think, from Debenham, a bit better than what we saw from Alex Paulson. Be interesting to see, though, the clearance from Binden, because I'm not sure if that shot was actually going on target. In fact, it was not, so really didn't need to put that ball back into the mixer, and Sanchez, third time lucky there for Argentina. Off the back of that, time for us now to go more attacking with our mentality. We'll also drop the tempo, see if that works, a la Cashmere Tech, off the back of going 4-0 down. And unfortunately, so far, those changes haven't worked off the back of that fourth goal, but now it's really just about experimenting and seeing what will work with a 4-0 deficit. We're going to bring on here Shaun Pearce for Jamie Young on a 6.2. To be fair, Shaun Pearce probably our best performing backup player at that World Cup. To be fair, Jamie Young did go into that tournament with a bit of an injury now. A couple of players down to red hearts. I think it's best here if we shore up the defence, make sure we hopefully don't concede any more. So Barn and Darman can come on. But now I think it's time for us here to get a bit bulky and go a bit more attacking with our roles, up that tempo, go a bit wider in terms of our attack, and also let's start to distribute to the fullbacks and see if that might help us grab some goals back in this last 20 minutes as we're 4-0 down. And we just made our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. Thankfully, Argentina not scoring since we did make those changes, going a bit more attacking. Actually, good interception there from Pearson. He finds McDonald, who starts to find some space here down the left-hand side. Let's see what George can do so far, going a bit averagely in this game. It absolutely does. Sanchez there, nutmegs him, makes him fall over, squares that one nicely for Shaun Pearce. Those two linking up beautifully in this attack. Of course, Pearce with the interception, and George McDonald did a ton of work there. The highlight of it being this nutmeggy sort of thing he does there to Sanchez, breaks his ankles, and McDonald squares that one nicely. Shaun Pearce just puts that one away past the goalkeeper at the near post. So thankfully, we grab a consolation goal. So maybe this is something we need to try a bit more from the starting games, going a bit more attacking now that we might be a half-decent team, at least in terms of our world ranking. We make our way into 3 minutes of added time. One more highlight, and again, we are on the attack, so maybe need to try this one out from the start in the next window and see if this is what we should be going with at the World Cups. Vinicius there gets an attempted shot. I think that was blocked, but thankfully gets it back before playing it back out there to Kelly Heald. And now we find Clark, now Darman, lots of space there down our right-hand side. We'll take on the shot. It gets blocked. It falls to McDonald, who can put that one away with the goalkeeper having committed to that shot from Darman. So a good finish for us here in this game to be here. That goal, pretty fortunate with that block on the Darman shot. I think that one did affect the goalkeeper, and indeed it did. McDonald there, an open net he could put that one into, albeit a couple of defenders were in his way. So not a bad finish, but a good ending to this game here. Even though we were 4-0 down, we did win the second half, so that kind of counts as a win in weird terms, because sometimes last goal wins and we won the second half if you're rubbish, is how you usually say that. So we weren't that good in that game, but a couple of tactical switches there. Maybe can try that out in the next international window, and that is only in a month or so's time. Not too sure if that's before or after the National League final, so maybe going to be another international window coming up before we get stuck into some Cashmere Tech stuff again in the save. But that went about as expected. Argentina, way too good for us in the first half. Alex Paulsen, absolute shocker in goal. But as you can tell by that match momentum and the XG graph there, really did kick into gear late. So maybe need to be a bit more attacking here with this all-white squad. So that loss might actually pay off in the long haul of the save if those tactical switches do actually work long term. But unfortunately, that's a loss 4-2 to Argentina. So unfortunately not the best window for us there results-wise with the All Whites, but as I said, going to be taking on some stronger teams on our way to the next World Cup, seeing as we are now a top 20 team. But thankfully, that hasn't hurt our ranking. We are still in 17th, so hopefully we might get the Senegal treatment in between this World Cup and the next one if we do struggle against some highly ranked teams. Thankfully also did just do enough there to keep hold of the soccer ashes. Next time around, when we are in an international window, you can see there, we've got the USA at Eden Park. That game's coming up in sort of mid-November. Not too sure if that is before or after the National League final, but the USA, they were keen to come to New Zealand, and you'd think will be slightly worse than Argentina being 8th in the world. So I'm hopeful that might be a team a bit more beatable inside the top 10, or at least a team we might be able to find a way to grab a result off. So I think that's a game we'll come back for later this week. Might not show you guys the Australian game. They were the only team interested in playing us inside the top 20. They must want those soccer ashes back. Hopefully this time don't give away a dumb penalty and we can beat them, but we'll see. If we show you guys that game, they might be our Senegal between this and next World Cup, seeing as they are ranked just above us. Hopefully can change that soon, but that USA game, definitely one we'll come back for later this week. We'll just see when the schedule is for the National League, if that's going to be before the final. Indeed it is, so that might actually be what we come back for in tomorrow's episode, seeing as we just beat the Northern League champions 10-0 yesterday. Not too sure if these games coming up in between now and the final are going to be too difficult, but I think they will do it for today's episode. In fact, it won't, because Chris Greenidge is on his way to the Brisbane Roar. Will accept that deal so he can continue to get some game time over there with that addition of Jonas Otto here at Cashmere Tech, albeit worth noting that won't go through until the 1st of December. So he's actually going to be here for the rest of the season, but next year, no Chris Greenidge at Cashmere Tech. But that will do it for today's episode. As I said, some okay results there with the All Whites, but maybe those tactical tweaks might work when we take on the USA. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Until tomorrow, as I said, probably for USA, maybe Australia, will see if we show you guys that game again. But until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.